Another day, another Democrat hoax that we had to talk about because, of course, Democrat Representative Rokana wants to run for president now. So he had to come up with some elaborate scheme to try to garner some attention, some eyeballs. So let me set the stage a little bit, and we're going to get into the actual clip of him being overseas. So Rokana went overseas to Israel, and he wanted to go to the West Bank because he cares so much about Palestine, which he knew he went into a restricted kind of area and was confronted by some of the locals who are guarding the area due to, threats and things like that. So they have some locals who are volunteers who just help protect the community. Okay. And he was encountered and detained for a bit of time until they figured out who he was, because of course he didn't announce that he was arriving or where he was going. He just showed up. So you're in a totally different country, walking around in a somewhat war area, a restricted zone, and you don't think you're going to be detained? Like, this is common sense. But of course, since he's a Democrat and an American representative, right, he thinks he's supposed to get some kind of special treatment. Because of course, Democrats always believe that they're supposed to get some type of special treatment. Let's hop into this clip here that is just absolutely crazy. Check it out.
I'm certainly probably the first American politician who's been detained by the IDF and Israeli settlers.
That's U.S. Democratic lawmaker Rokana during a visit to the West Bank this week. He was there, he said, to get an unfiltered look at the human toll of Israeli occupation as he weighs a 2028 presidential run.
We were at a village that Israeli settlers had destroyed. They had destroyed the school. They had destroyed that village, and we were just looking at it. And these hoodlums come in with machine guns, an M4, an American-made machine gun, and they detain us. They block off the road. And then they call the IDF, and the IDF is on their side, not on the side of the Americans.
An aide who was with Kana said they were held for more than an hour and made appeals to the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem for help. A group of officers who appeared to be police eventually intervened, he said, leading to their release.
I saw the arrogance in the eyes of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-olds with guns, laughing that they had detained us. The arrogance of those young IDF soldiers that my tax dollars are funding, having no respect for the fact that they were detaining Americans.
The Israeli military said troops and police...
You see what I mean? Having no respect for the fact that they had just detained Americans. Yeah, you're in foreign land. You're not on American soil. You're in a totally different country where some folks are afraid of being attacked. So they have a group of individuals who are, volunteers, kind of first responder type of folks who are helping to protect the community. And so, yeah, they laughed at your goofy behind because they probably saw the type of stunt you were trying to pull. They probably figured it out, just like I'm figuring it out. Right? These Democrats, man, they know no end, right? This is just absolute. I want to run for president, so I'm going to set up something so that I can cry wolf. It's ridiculous. You guys remember when AOC had posed for that picture? Fake cried and did one of these numbers. This is the same thing. This is the same exact thing right here. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Jeez.
Officers intervened after receiving a report of settlers blocking vehicles near Kirbet Zanuta. It's a small Palestinian hamlet whose residents were forcibly displaced by violent settler raids following the 2023 Hamas attacks on Israel. Israel's police did not immediately respond to a request for comment, nor did the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. Kana, a progressive lawmaker from California in the U.S. House of Representatives, said his West Bank visit had increased his resolve to consider bidding for the White House. That's while Israel's conduct towards Palestinians has emerged as a flashpoint in democratic politics. Israel's favorability rating among Democrats fell from 59% in 2018 to 22% in May, according to Reuters Ipsos polling. And while Israel has long enjoyed strong bipartisan U.S. support, an increasing number of Democrats in Congress are now pressing to cut off military aid.
If you're unwilling to speak up for Palestinian human rights, if you're unwilling to speak up against the genocide in Gaza, the apartheid in the West Bank, then you are morally compromised.
Israel rejects allegations it carried out a genocide in Gaza or that it institutes an apartheid regime in the West Bank, which has a population of about 3 million Palestinians and around 500,000 Jewish settlers. Most countries and the United Nations regard Israeli settlements in the West Bank as illegal under international law.
So, you saw that, and of course, we got to get a little bit more of an explanation of kind of what was going on behind the scenes a little bit. So I had this video clip, and I know, the whole Israel talk. Honestly, I don't really give a crap. I'm not a Israel guy. I've never, oh yeah, let's go Israel, but I've also never like, oh, let's take a shit on Israel. Like, honestly, I'm pretty neutral. Okay, I care about America first. That's what I give a crap about. I don't care about these other countries. I don't. Genuinely, I don't. I care about America and Americans on American soil. That's what I give a crap about. So this whole talk of, Israel and Palestine, it goes in one ear and out the other for me, personally. You guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about it. But I will be the first to say, and I've said it before, I care about America and America first. That is it, and that is all. That's not to say that we can't ever help any other countries or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is we need to help ourselves first. Okay? So any and every other country on this planet can kick rocks, can kiss my black behind, and I mean that. Okay? But as far as like bashing other countries, like, for what? For what? I'm just not going to engage in all of that. And I know some of you, well, you just told him to kiss your butt. Yeah, I was making a point, okay? I'm not like these leftists out here who are like marching in the streets. F Israel, F. First off, you'll never catch me marching in the streets. I just think it's just ridiculous and a waste of time. But you'll never catch me marching, especially for something like that. But just to make it clear where I stand, I care about America. Simple and plain. That is it, and that is all. All right? Now, let's get a little bit more of an explanation of kind of what happened behind the scenes, because, of course, he went on a media tour to try to garner some sympathy and some notoriety because he wants to run for president. But like I said, here's an explanation of kind of why he was detained. Check it out.
Anyway, so he's on a dirt road. Now, picture this. It's Shabbat. Most of the communities around this area, the Jewish communities, are Jewish, and they're religious. And on Shabbat, they don't drive. So what happens is when you see a suspicious car, especially on Shabbat, driving off the road into a dirt road near a village, maybe near a Jewish community, the first response units, the volunteers from the communities, get a message from the surveillance people who are surveilling the area with cameras. And they're saying, there's a suspicious car over here. Why don't you go over there and check it out? So instead of running away, these first responders actually go to it. And this is when they were detained. Now, of course, they carry guns. Why wouldn't you carry guns if you were a first response unit, a civilian first response volunteer unit that goes after threats, suspicious vehicles, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, whoever's there, Palestinian Authority policemen who are very dangerous. So they go after them and they want to figure out. So they go after Rokana. And they stop the car and they try to figure out who he is. And it took over an hour. Why? Because he did not coordinate his trip with Israel or the IDF or anybody. No one even knew that he was in the area. All we knew from a first response unit that there was a suspicious vehicle. So he came, so he was detained. And he was detained until the army could then come, because the first response units are actually only first response. It's kind of like saying, it's kind of like getting like a paramedic and then a doctor, right? So the army is like set for this. And the first responders are there just to be the first ones there.
Yeah. So obviously, regardless of how you feel about Israel or whatever, that whole, like, forget about that. To me, that's common sense, right? I don't care if we're in the middle of sub-Saharan Africa. If you're waltzing around a village of individuals, they're gonna want to know who the hell you are. Where'd you come from? What are you doing over here? You don't belong here. hey, let's send out our guys to go and stop this because we don't know what they're about to do. You know, it's just common sense. To me, it's common sense. Once again, regardless of how you feel about Israel, that is just complete common sense to me. But of course, like I said, Roukhana had to go on a media tour to try to garner some sympathy. And here's one of his interviews with Meet the Press. Check it out.
I do want to ask you, because you just returned from a 3-day trip to the West Bank this week. You say you were held by Israeli settlers with rifles. We do have some still footage that was captured by your team of the incident. We should say in a statement, the Israeli Defense Forces, or the IDF, released a statement saying IDF troops were dispatched to the scene, quickly dispersed the Israeli civilians, and reopened the blocked road. The IDF soldiers operating in the area did not take part in blocking the road. Walk us through what you experienced.
The IDF is lying. What happened was unprecedented. They had violent settlers detain American citizens, including an American government official. You had these settlers brandishing M4s, kicking the tires of our van, laughing at us, mocking at us, videotaping us. We were detained for about 20 minutes, fearful of our lives. Then the IDF comes, 4 soldiers. They tell our translator that they're on the side of the settlers. They further detain us and block us in. We had to call the American embassy. Fortunately, David Brownstein helped, and he got to someone in Israel. And 75 minutes after the detention by the IDF soldiers and by these settlers, we were let through. Now, I heard the prime minister, and he says that Israel is a country of law and order. Well, let me be very specific. The prime minister needs to open an investigation on these violent settlers who are connected to Yanon Levy, who has destroyed Zanuda's village and is a known person who has killed Palestinians, and these settlers were connected to him. They need to be prosecuted, including Yanon Levy. Their outpost needs to be investigated, and he needs to have an investigation on these 4 IDF officers. Security cameras can see that they were involved in the detention of American citizens. How dare they mistreat people with an American passport that way?
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm proud to be an American. I believe we're better than everybody else. 100%, 1,000%. You're not going to get me to apologize for feeling that way. But to go to another country unannounced and to feel like you're, well, one, supposed to be recognized as an American. I don't know if you knew, Roukhana, but we all look different. We all look different. Okay? So it's not like somebody can just look and know, oh yeah, that guy's American, right? Oh, yep, that's an American. Like, no, you can't just look at somebody and know that they're an American, especially if you're going somewhere unannounced. It's just not going to happen. We all look different. That's one of the unique things about America, okay? It's not like a lot of countries. There are a lot of countries where a lot of the individuals from said country all look pretty similar. You know what I mean? That's not the case in America. We all look completely different. And so to go to another country and to try to cry wolf and, oh my goodness, how dare they detain an American citizen? How would they know that you're American, first off? Second, why wouldn't you notify them that you're going to be in their country waltzing around their land? Second. And third, why do you think you're above their law? Don't Democrats say nobody's above the law? Nobody is above the law. Apparently, Democrats think they're above the law, and that shows it right there. Right there. That statement alone. Hey, I'm an American, so I should be able to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, wherever I want to do it. That tells you everything. He said it out of his own mouth. He doesn't even realize it. I guarantee you right now, behind the scenes, he's kicking himself in the teeth right now. Behind the scenes, his team is like, why the f did you say that? Why would you say that? You know? Behind the scenes. Oh, well, his run for presidency began and ended in very short fashion because nobody's going to vote. Well, first off, nobody was going to vote for that in the first place, but now they're definitely not voting for it. Like, what? You think you can just do whatever it is that you want to simply because you're an American? It's crazy. Crazy. But yeah, I'm not gonna even play the rest of that interview. It's just him, trying to drum up, some type of support or, anger because he got detained. And it's like, come on, bro, stop it. You should have been detained at least, right? You're on foreign soil. Nobody knows who you are. you're Rokana. Nobody cares who Rokana is. Trust me. So yeah, you should have been detained, and you should have been detained in every single country on this planet if you did something like this. This is just crazy. But anyway, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. If you agree, if you disagree, why or why not. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.